So here's the question. What price does it take to live in St. Petersburg, Florida? As a local realtor, I have clients from all over the affordability spectrum, such as from first-time home buyers to luxury estate waterfront properties. Everyone's budget and lifestyle is different here in the St. Petersburg area. But what we're seeing here in St. Petersburg is way different than the narrative in the United States, and even different comparing to Florida itself, and some areas of even Tampa Bay and West Central Florida as well. So I'm going to go into why those differences are and kind of look at some raw numbers so we can go over the data and dive into what's going on here in St. Petersburg, Florida in 2023. First, let's look at a map. St. Pete is literally a peninsula off of the already peninsular Florida, right? So with that said, there's not a ton of land available for housing. And if you're local, or if you visited here before in St. Pete, then you know that there is not a ton of quote-unquote free space around for new development homes, especially with single-family home neighborhoods. Now, this lack of land and the amount of people that want to move here to St. Petersburg equals housing issues. Simply put, this is a supply and demand problem, especially here in St. Pete, Florida. But here's the cool thing we're gonna do in this video. I'm gonna show you a bunch of data and numbers and really go into the meat itself of what's going on. So let's jump right into it. Now I wanna show you the real-time numbers that can help you understand how little inventory we have here for housing in St. Pete, and give you some pricing on these houses, condos, and apartments as well. So we begin by looking at the real estate market here in St. Pete in 2023 and what is currently for sale right now. Okay, so looking at these numbers, I'm gonna break it down real quick so you're not confused. On the left-hand side, we have the single-family homes, and I broke that apart from the condos and townhomes here on the right-hand side of the screen. So these are the numbers, and then these are going to be some percentages as well. So let's start with the weekly look. So I do a weekly look, looking here in St. Pete specific, what's going on every week in the city of St. Petersburg, and this is the single family homes. So let's look at the active inventory for this week. So from April 25th to May 1st, we only had 432 single family homes for sale in the entirety of St. Pete, Florida. These can be homes that need complete knockdown and rebuild, and or single family homes that are $12–15 million as well. So it's everything on the spectrum. So only 432 homes for sale. There's 514 homes that are pending and 101 that sold during that time frame of the week. But here's what I want you to understand. This is the price ranges: 0 to 250, 251 to 350, 351, and so forth. So for the majority of the single family homes, there's not a ton that sits in that $0 to $450,000 mark, right? The majority actually sits, more than 50% sits on this $451,000 plus for sale here in the St. Petersburg area. So even though we have 432 homes, what is affordable to most is not really an option, and or there's not a ton of inventory. So I just wanted to point that out for the single family homes. Switching over here to the condos and townhomes, remember it's the same setup. There is a little bit more for sale on the active side, 506 condos and townhomes for sale, and a little bit more on the lower end for affordability. However, I do want to point out, for condos and townhomes, you will more than likely see larger HOA payments that will add on to your monthly bill. And so the affordability factor really does not come into play with these. If you're paying, $350,000 for a condo, and then the HOA fee is another $400 or $500 a month, is that pretty much the same of buying a $350,000 home with no HOA and having those quote-unquote savings? So just always remember that. So the point of this graph on this weekly one is to see the active inventory. We are darn low for the 432 and 506. And I'm going to show you a quick snapshot of what that looks like when we look at from June of 2022 to May of 2023 when we're doing this. These are active homes for sale here in St. Pete. And again, this is the single family homes as well. So you could see that we kind of had a trajectory up June, July, August, going into October, right? We had a lot more active inventory. We were about 900. And then right after that, October, November, you see this decline until where we're at now. So we are declining in active inventory if you look at a 12-month comparison. So switching on over, I want to look at the month over month as well. So everything's the same setup, left-hand side. This is going to be comparing March to April for the single-family homes here in St. Pete. So if we compare March to April of 2023, we had 511 active homes for sale in March, went down to 439, so we lost 72 active homes for sale. However, we did go up just slightly in the pending sales, so about 7 more homes pending for sale, comparing month over month. And then for sold inventory, we actually went down 50 units. 50 single-family homes less were sold comparing March to April. So you see this fluctuation, less homes for sale, a little bit more going pending, but not much of a shift, and less sold properties. If you don't have enough to sell, then they're not going to be sold, right? Looking at the median sold price, we did go up a good bit, about $40,000, and we're selling about 99% from sold price to list price. So you're getting, when you're listing your home, you're getting 99% on the average of what you're listing it for, and you're selling that within about 18 days you're going under contract. We're going to talk about this in a different video, the median sold price. We're not seeing that much of a jump overall when you compare weeks and a couple months together. There are some outliers in that data specific. All right, so now I want to go over what we see as affordable here in St. Pete, how much money people make on the median here in St. Pete, and then go over some scenarios of how much it costs to purchase a home at $350,000 and at $500,000, just to give you some context of how much cash you would need to close on that and what the monthly payments are with about 5% down on a conventional loan. Let's get into the numbers. So looking at some numbers here, this is based off of Point2 Homes data, and they pull it from a couple different sources, but the median household income for St. Pete is about $64,000. So if you break that down to a monthly payment, that's about $5,300 a month, again, for the median household income here in St. Pete. So let's use that number. Let's just keep it basic. $5,300 is what the median family brings home here in St. Pete. So talking to my preferred lender here in the St. Pete area, he gave me some numbers at a $350,000 purchase. And if you're to purchase a $350,000 home with principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, your monthly payment would be about $2,870. So remember, if you're bringing $5,300 home and you're spending almost $3,000 in your monthly payment just for the housing, that doesn't include utilities, car payments, upkeep of the property, anything like that, that can cause a little concern for some people, right? So let's look at how much cash it would take to purchase a $350,000 home. So with a 5% down conventional loan, you need about $27,000 cash at closing to purchase that $350,000 home. And again, that includes closing costs and things of that nature for the most part. There might be some HOA fees or something like that. So about $27,000 cash to close to purchase a $350,000 home. And as we saw in those graphs, there's not a ton of options for those buyers looking in that $350,000 price range, right? So let's bump that up to $500,000. What does it look like to purchase a $500,000 home? So on the monthly payments to purchase a $500,000 home, you're looking at about $4,090 on a monthly basis, paying again for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance here in St. Pete. And then again, so that's 5% down. So how much cash would you need to close on a $500,000 home? 5% down. That number is about $37,500 at the closing table to purchase that $500,000 home. All right, so with those scenarios in mind, some people were wondering, hey, I know there's some new construction out there. Let's look at that, Josh. I know that single-family homes are a little bit older here in St. Pete for the most part. What about new builds, right? So we have a bunch of condo towers going up. We have some pockets of new single-family homes coming up on some vacant lots. Well, let's go take a look right now. All right, so I'm pulling this directly from my MLS, my multiple listing service, and what I did is I looked up any condos, townhomes, single-family homes, villas that were for sale that are considered new construction here in St. Pete. And I filtered it by lowest price to highest price. So right now, when I'm pulling this data, there's only 106 new construction homes in the MLS. Some don't put it on the MLS because they're so far new into the construction that they have not placed it on the MLS. So there's probably some missing data, but currently there's 106 in here, and you see the most affordable one is $349,000, and that's a single-family home, 3-bed, 2-bath. So speaking of our scenarios, if you were to want to purchase a $350,000 home and did not want a resale home, you literally only have 5 options at $350,000 or below. So again, for new construction inventory, there's not a lot, and that we saw the resale inventory, there was not a lot in that price point either. So let's look at the $500,000 inventory. As you can see, if you want to go up to the $519 negotiate, that's one thing, but there's only 10 options that are $500,000 and below. So what we're seeing in these new construction options, since there's not a ton of available land, is that we're seeing a lot of condo towers coming up. Most of those start $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 because of the location that they're at, and then you got to add on the HOA fees as well on the monthly basis. So the question is, what is affordable for most, and are there properties for sale for those folks that can only purchase up to $350,000, $400,000, $500,000? As we see in this data, that's not really the thing. So is the city doing anything to help mitigate that and or help? Let's go take a look at some things that the city has in mind. All right, so if you're new to St. Pete and or if you're looking to purchase something, you need to go visit this website. So if you go to St. Pete and then under housing and housing opportunities, you're gonna find a pretty cool website that gives a bunch of information. Settle in St. Pete, helping 500 households purchase single-family resident homes, condos, and townhomes. There's assistance programs, affordable single-family housing. They have programs out there and loan programs as well for redevelopment. And then there's some other fun incentives and support as well that the city is trying to really get off the ground and continue forward and expand as well. So this is definitely a great website to look at if you are looking for some grants or some information on housing here in St. Pete. Another thing that's great here in St. Pete is ADUs, accessory dwelling units. So a lot of folks that have single family homes here in St. Pete, sometimes they have a garage in the back of the lot, and you're seeing a lot of these that either on the first and or second floors or both, you're seeing another accessory unit, mother-in-law suite, apartment, whatever you want to call it. So St. Pete's getting a little bit heavier and focusing on building that section out. So let's go look at the website here in St. Pete for the information that you can look at here. So again, this is St. Pete's website. If you just go to housing, homeowners, and accessory dwelling units, you get to see this helpful page right here. So it's telling you what an ADU is, accessory dwelling unit, like we just talked about, and there are certain programs that they help as well. So you got to make sure the zoning allows for it, and then it tells you about the design options and how to apply for the permits, so on and so forth. They have the maximums, so make sure you do your reading. So if you already own a single family home and want to expand, this would definitely be a great option to first help those people that are looking to rent something, but also it adds to your value of your house and you get to make some rent money in the end as well. There are some more programs out there, support for South St. Pete homeowners. They have some redevelopment areas as well, to where it looks like they have some programs specific to that area as well. And they have a lot of FAQs down here for you to read in as well. So definitely a great piece to go look at for ADUs here in St. Pete. Okay, so if you don't want to purchase a home here in St. Pete, you're like, hey, I just want to come hang out for a couple years, don't want to buy anything, but I'm looking to rent. What does the rental market look like here in St. Pete? Let's go take a look at some of those numbers right now. All right, so looking at rent.com, the best resource I can find that has a majority of the rentals here in St. Pete. So the average rent they're saying here in St. Pete for a studio is about $2,300. A one bed is about $2,000, and I would go more on the one beds and two beds here. So $2,000 and some change for a one bed and about $2,600 for a two bed. So those numbers are great, right? But let's look at some actual active rentals that are up right now. All right, so this is the website apartments.com. A lot of folks use this, and I also ship some people over here if they're looking for a bunch of rental options that might not be on the MLS. So you can see it's all over, right? For St. Pete specific, some go all the way to the beach and some go a little bit further north going towards Largo, but we're just gonna focus on a little bit down here. And over on the right, it has how many bedrooms on average they have and then what the price points are. So just like the rent.com had with their averages, it seems like it's right on point. So $1,900 to $2,800 a month for a 1 to 2 bed, $1,600 to $4,600. I feel like that's a little bit of an outlier. It might be a little bit more than a 2 bed. Looks pretty updated though and pretty fun. And a lot of these do have a ton of amenities, right? Right here on Central, $2,000 to $4,500 for a studio to a 2 bed, $1,700 to $2,800 for the Sur Club Apartments, 1 to 3 bed. So you see the price points. I mean, minimum you're gonna be spending $1,500, $1,600 for anything. It looks like a 2 bedroom is about that $2,500 for any 2 bedroom here in the St. Petersburg area. Now most people want to move here for the lifestyle, from the close proximity to the stunning beaches, to a vibrant downtown, strong art scene, and just an amazing place to call home. But here's the question, at what price? Now this is not to scare you in any way, right? This is to inform you of the current market here in St. Pete. Now there are options out there for homes that could fit, but will it be your perfect home for the specific price point? That is the question. Now, if you're looking to purchase a place and you're like, hey, I want new construction, as you can see here, there's not a ton of options if you're looking for more affordability, like under $500,000. So what I've been doing with folks is driving them down to the Bradenton area, Parrish. You know, it is a little bit of a drive, but you can still make that 35, 45 minute track over here. If you want new construction, there's options up there. Are you okay to go North Pinellas and a little bit more north that direction to get some more new construction options? These are questions that I have for you. What are you seeing out there? What is your drive time that you're still wanting to have that St. Pete beach and downtown lifestyle, but you want that new construction? How far would you be willing to drive? So again, the purpose of this video was to bring you a bunch of data, let you know what's going on here in the St. Pete housing market in 2023, looking at the numbers, the affordability, the new construction, and even looking at some rental options as well. I want to hear what your thoughts are. Is St. Pete becoming way too expensive for you to live in? Are you gonna have to room up with some people? Or are you comfortable and you know that the lifestyle that St. Pete provides, you just gotta kind of pay for? Now, if you got some value out of this video, if you could do me a huge favor and hit that like button and that subscribe button. I put a video out every week just for you here in the St. Pete and the Tampa Bay area. Just wanna bring value to you, add any value and questions or comments that you have as well. So please respond below. I'd love to hear some feedback. And again, I'm a realtor here in the St. Pete area. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I really appreciate your time, and we'll see you right back on the next video. Bye now.